What if I told you that in 2018, LeBron James wasn't just dominating basketball, he was bending the sport to his will, that at 33 years old, with more miles on his legs than almost any player in history, he produced a playoff run so outrageous, so statistically absurd, and so mentally taxing that even some of his rivals quietly admitted it might be the greatest solo performance the NBA had ever seen. He didn't have a co-star, he didn't have an all-NBA teammate to share the burden. He had a revolving door of role players, mid-season trades, and a conference stacked with teams itching to send him home. But somehow, he carried that team to the NBA Finals. And along the way, he left a trail of broken records, shattered expectations, and fan bases that still wake up in cold sweats thinking about what he did to them. This is the story of 2018 LeBron James, the year the King became something more than just an all-time great, the year he became a one-man army. When LeBron James walked into the 2017-18 season, he was supposed to be in a position of strength. Just 2 years earlier, he'd delivered Cleveland its first championship in franchise history. He was fresh off another finals trip, and the Eastern Conference, in theory, was still his to rule. But there was one massive problem. Kyrie Irving was gone. The man who hit the biggest shot in Cavaliers history had requested a trade. Reports said Kyrie was tired of living in LeBron's shadow, that he wanted to lead his own team. The move blindsided Cleveland fans and, by all accounts, blindsided LeBron too. Without Kyrie, the Cavs patched the hole with Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, and a few other pieces in the offseason. On paper, it wasn't awful, but the chemistry? Awful. The defense? Worse than awful. From the start, the Cavs looked old, slow, vulnerable. And for LeBron, the message was clear. If Cleveland was going to compete, he'd have to drag them there himself. The early season was up and down, but there were hints, scary hints, that LeBron was about to hit a gear we'd never seen before. Game 9 of the season against Washington, LeBron casually dropped 57 points on 23 for 34 shooting, along with 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. At 33 years old, this man was outrunning 25-year-olds and scoring like it was NBA 2K on rookie mode. That performance sparked an 11-game win streak. LeBron was everywhere. Chased down blocks, dagger threes, no-look passes. He was playing all 5 positions on offense and defense, dictating every possession like a puppet master. By mid-December, Cleveland was 19-2 over their last 21 games, and LeBron had vaulted into the MVP conversation. The only man ahead of him, James Harden. Then came Christmas Day against the Warriors. The Cavs lost. And from that point, the season started to skid. From December 25th to early February, Cleveland went 6-13. The team looked finished. Locker room chemistry was reportedly toxic. Isaiah Thomas was openly criticizing teammates. The defense was dead last in the league. LeBron was still producing insane numbers, but it was like pouring gasoline into a car with no engine. The team just wasn't moving forward. Enter Lee GM. At the trade deadline, Cleveland executed one of the boldest roster overhauls in modern NBA history. 6 players out, 4 players in, all younger, faster, hungrier. Larry Nance Jr., Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, and George Hill were the new running mates. They weren't all-stars, but they were fresh legs. And for LeBron, that was enough. As the season wound down, LeBron's numbers went from great to "Are you serious?" In March, he averaged 30 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists on 55% shooting. He was hitting one-legged fadeaways in traffic, throwing full-court assists, and dunking on people like it was 2010 again. But Cleveland still stumbled into the playoffs as the 4th seed in the East. That meant no home court advantage in later rounds. The MVP out of reach, the critics circling. What happened next turned into legend. The Pacers were no pushover. Victor Oladipo had emerged as a star, and Indiana stole Game 1 in Cleveland by 18 points. Game 2, LeBron sent a message. 46 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists on 70% shooting. Series tied. Game 5 tied 2-2. In Cleveland, LeBron went full hero mode. 44 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, a game-saving block, and a buzzer-beater 3 to win. The building shook. The Pacers were stunned. The series went 7 games. In Game 7, LeBron dropped 45 points and carried Cleveland through, despite not having a single teammate score over 20 in any game of the series. It was already one of the most lopsided carry jobs in NBA playoff history. And he was just getting started. The top-seeded Raptors were supposed to be a different beast. Best record in the East. Deep roster, home court advantage. They didn't last a week. LeBron dismantled them with a mix of post fadeaways, spin moves, and impossible layups. His Game 3 dagger, an off-glass, one-leg runner at the buzzer, didn't just win the game. It broke Toronto's spirit. The Cavs swept. Raptors fans started calling him LeBronto. Even DeMar DeRozan admitted afterward, if we had LeBron, we'd win too. Boston, even without Kyrie Irving, had a fearless young core. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, and one of the best home court crowds in the league. They punched Cleveland in the mouth in Game 1 and Game 2. Suddenly, LeBron's final streak was in danger. Game 6. Facing elimination, LeBron scored 46 points with 11 rebounds and 9 assists, hitting clutch 3 after clutch 3. Game 7 in Boston, 35 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, plus the kind of defensive hustle plays that only happen when a superstar's will to win overrides physical exhaustion. 8 straight finals trips, but this time, the mountain ahead was taller than ever. Golden State. 4 All-Stars, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Game 1 will go down as the single greatest performance of his career. 51 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. The most points in a finals game since Michael Jordan in 1993. He hit threes, drove past Durant, bullied Draymond, and scored on anyone who dared to try. And then, J.R. Smith happened. Tie game, 4 seconds left. Smith grabbed an offensive rebound and dribbled the clock out, thinking Cleveland was ahead. The game went to overtime, where the Warriors won. LeBron's face on the bench said everything: disbelief, frustration, and the sinking realization that they'd just blown their best chance. Golden State swept the series, but the finals numbers were absurd. LeBron averaged 34 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists on 52% shooting against one of the greatest teams ever. He didn't win the championship, he didn't win MVP, but the 2018 playoff run is still cited by many as the most impressive individual postseason in NBA history. 748 total points, most ever in a single postseason. Led all players in points, assists, and minutes. 7 40-point games, 3 buzzer beaters, 2 Game 7 wins. At 33 years old, he was still the best player in the world, and maybe, just maybe, the best version of himself we've ever seen. 2018 wasn't just another great season for LeBron James. It was the season where he erased the line between superstar and superhuman. He didn't just carry a team, he carried an entire city's hope, night after night, possession after possession. And even though the story ended without a ring, it remains a living reminder of what greatness really looks like. One man against the world, and for a moment, making you believe he could win.